Alrighty, let's unlock your first crow or frog stand. Whatever the hell is the difference. Keep watching this video for a step-by-step process on how you can basically balance with your knees on your elbows. I know it might feel impossible for now, it was for me too, but after coaching hundreds of people to get their first crow and frog, it's a simple framework to break it down, and by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to get your first crow/frog. Firstly, what's the difference? I had to actually look this up, I'm being honest. The crow is when you're more in a straight arm position and your knees are actually on top of your triceps. The frog or the frog stand is when your elbows are in the middle of your knees. You're almost driving your elbows out, basically. That's the difference. They're very similar. What muscles am I using? We're mainly going to be using our protractors, so our chest and our shoulders, and our core, okay? And this is where I'm going to write down the word protraction. It's the most important part of the crow, because I see it all too often, people with this flat back posture, and they never unlock the crow. It's just not going to work. Crow, frog, whatever, right? Gonna make that joke many, many times throughout the video. So, what is the technique for getting your first crow or frog? So, I want you to do this with me at home. Put your hands up like you're a boxer, like this, 90 degrees. And now, I want you to round your shoulders and squeeze them in. And imagine someone's gonna move you around and you're squeezing as hard as you can. Notice how your chest and your lats engage. That's the exact feeling that I want you guys in when you're doing the crow and the frog, because what that does is when I round my shoulders, my hips actually come up, and that's the position that I'm gonna be in when I'm in that crow and the frog. I see it far too often, people just putting all the load on their legs, just basically leaning on their legs without actually taking the load in their shoulders. That's exactly what you want to be doing, because you want to eventually be progressing to things like the handstand push-up, the crow up to handstand, etc., etc. Now, my favorite movement, just by the by, of the crow and the frog is the pike push-up. I love this movement. What we're basically doing is we're in a downward dog position. We're going to aim forwards of our hands with our nose, tuck the chin, round the shoulders like this posture I just said here. We're rounding the shoulders, core engaged, ribs squeezed, and then we're going to descend all the way down and come back up. Before you even try the crow and the frog, get this really, really good. And even as you're progressing in your crow and the frog, keep working on this movement. This is the strength element of the skill, which is the crow and the frog. So if you're super strong in the pike push-up, you'll be able to do the crow and the frog. If you can do a handstand push-up, you can do a crow, right? So get stronger while you're working on the skill. And we'll do a whole video on the pike push-up another time, but just know, keep working on this movement and keep developing it. How do I get into the crow for the first time? Great question. You're gonna come down in a nice deep squat. You're gonna then go even lower to the floor, almost like someone pulling your belly button in and back, rounding the shoulders. You're gonna make sure your elbows are on the middle of your knees. We're gonna learn the frog stance before the crow, because it's slightly easier. You're then gonna bring your hands down on the floor. Wherever your grip ends up, do it there. I don't mind close, I don't mind wide, just wherever it ends up, put it on the floor. Then, driving your elbows up, rounding the shoulders, pulling the belly button up, I want you to lean forwards over your hands, and you'll notice that your feet are going to start to feel weightless. Simply for now, come forwards, feel the weightlessness, come back down. Forwards, weightless, come back down. And do that a few times, maybe 5 or 6 times. Once that starts to feel really good, I want you to lean forwards, and then just when you feel like you're going to come forwards, lean a bit further forwards. Now, this is an important point. When I say lean, I think about the pike push-up. Right? You're not going to be so much pushing your shoulders forwards. I actually want you bending your arms closer to the floor and leaning forwards at the same time. So you're pushing the shoulders forwards and you're bending the arms, because what that does, that puts more pressure into the shoulders and takes it off of the knees and the lower body, so we can actually get that lift and put the pressure into the shoulders, which means you have more control rather than just balancing on your arms, okay? So lean forward and you're gonna feel that lift. Then, as you lean forward, notice how you can use your fingers to control you. So when you come too far forward, you squeeze your fingers and you'll come back. If you feel like you're gonna go back the way you came, lean forwards more, bend the arms more. It's a real funny paradox with the frog stand, because the closer your nose is to the floor, the scarier it is, but the easier it is, because you have more leverage. You're leveraging your hips higher. You wanna make sure that the center of mass, which is your belly button, goes over the base of support, which is your hands. And the only way you can do that is by leaning forwards and bending your arms so you can pull your hips over your hands and you can get that balance, okay? So that's it. That's fundamentally the frog stand. Once you've done that, make sure you're focusing on belly button in, core engaged, so ribs squeezed down to the waist, chest in, elbows driving out over the knees, leaning forwards, and you 100% will get your frog stand. The next one up is then bring your hands a bit closer in, almost like your triceps are closer in. Place your knees on top of your triceps. Do the same motion, so you're bending your arms going low, but this time your elbows will be resting on your triceps rather than your elbows driving out against your knees. Bit less tension, but a bit more in the shoulders, and that's gonna really help you to then move towards things like the crow to handstand, etc., etc. So again, when you're working on this movement, if you're doing it over and over again and you feel yourself slipping, I genuinely think actually wearing like leggings or some more grippy clothes actually really helps, especially when you're learning it for the first time. You might just slip off yourself on the first time. But make sure you're getting stronger. Keep working on that pike push-up. Keep working on going lower, leaning more forwards, pausing at the bottom. That is going to be the foundational movement that's going to get you this, okay? Think of the crow and the frog as the skill. Think of the pike push-up as the strength, okay? Just in the same way as the handstand, the chest to wall handstand is the strength, and then the kicking up to the handstand is the skill. We have to make sure we're working on both in tandem, because if you're strong enough, the skill will come. So just to conclude, make sure we've got protraction in the shoulders, our core's engaged. We're gonna lean forward a little bit, get a bit of lift. Eventually we're gonna feel good. We're gonna lean forwards. We're gonna squeeze the fingers if we go too far forwards. You're gonna lift the hips up. You're gonna feel that weightlessness in your feet as you come up. Eventually you're holding it there, you're chilling, you're holding for 10 seconds, then you can move on to the crow, hold that for 10 seconds, and then you've unlocked a whole world of handstand push-ups, advanced crow and frog variations, etc., etc. So guys, if you like the video, make sure to smash that like button below. That way I know you guys are enjoying it and I should make more. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to leave them below. I get back to all of the questions here at CaliUnity YouTube. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the CaliUnity YouTube. Our whole goal is to take the lessons that we learn from our world-class facility in Bath and share them online so we can make real-life health education accessible to everyone, but mainly for the people that don't like traditional gyms but still want to get mobile, toned and strong. Sometimes there's a lot of misinformation out there. We're simply sharing what works at our gym with our members in real time and sharing it online so you guys can benefit. And if you know someone who's working on their crow and frog, maybe in a yoga class that you're in or a friend, share this with them. It may be the exact thing they need to go to the next level in their training. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Best of luck with the crow, and once you've got it, don't forget to watch the more advanced variations coming up after this.